Hello, thanks for joining me on Be Resilient for Life with Monica Yearwood. Here, I talk about ways to enhance resilience in our modern world, ways that we can improve our immunity, techniques for mental and emotional health, and practices to help us feel better about the world that we are living in. With the new Omicron variant, how are you feeling? Do you feel frustrated, defeated, or afraid? I think it's really important that we look at our mental health and our physical health and whatever it is that we can positively control. Wherever you are in the world, I think we can all agree that this has been a lot, really. When you look at the last 2 years, wow, there's a lot of levels, and it's challenging to feel empowered in these circumstances, to take on regulatory powers, to navigate mandates, to feel like you're under somebody else's control or influence, whether that's the control or influence of the government or the control or influence of the measures your neighbor is taking or not taking to protect themselves, and how that might influence you. It's a lot to sift through and to understand. But what you can control is your own mental and emotional well-being, your physical well-being, and the well-being of those people who are closest to you. I am not advocating for any political or medical opinion. I think that you've got enough people that you could follow who are doing that. What I am advocating for is for you to take care of yourself, your mental and emotional health, and your body. What I believe is that what has happened over the last year has brought a lot of cultural division closer to the surface. We see this in the larger collective, on the news, etc., but we also see this close to home in our families and in our friendships. Where before we could be around each other, and if you had different views as friends or family members, you could easily avoid talking about it. But now some of those issues are brought so close to the surface that we can't avoid this discussion as easily, and what's more, the decisions that come from these varied opinions have a direct impact on our lives. Not to mention the real trauma we've gone through and the fear that people have felt, whether it was the fear for your health or the fear of losing your rights. Those are 2 points, but they're both points of fear. And I think that whenever you feel any heightened emotion like fear and anger, I think it's really important to process those emotions before acting on them, and also to try to avoid suppressing those emotions because they will come out later. When you don't fully process your emotions or your feelings, it's very difficult to have a productive conversation with someone. It can be very difficult to focus on solutions, to understand where the other person might be coming from, to ask questions, to remain curious, because something happens, something is said, and it triggers all of the unprocessed emotions. And oftentimes, the depth of your emotional reaction to something will show you what you've got going on inside. It will show you what you've built up from your past. It's challenging to process emotions like fear or anger when you're in a situation that is chronically bringing them up. And so I think it's really important to right now set some time aside to be deliberate with your attention, to process the feelings and the emotions, and to release the stress from the nervous system so that we can see things with much more clarity. No emotion is wrong or bad. Fear isn't wrong. It's a necessary part of our alert system. It's a warning. Anger isn't bad. It's a mobilizer, and it can be a protector. It's a powerful, motivating energy. But when these emotions aren't processed or become so habituated within the nervous system that anxiety and other big problems start to manifest, it's an issue. My concern is that if we continue to function this way, mental health issues will continue to rise. Anger and fear will also continue to rise. These acts of violence that we are seeing in the collective will continue to rise. I think there have to be additional solutions to some of our problems that we haven't even thought of yet. And I think some of these solutions are not being presented by the regulatory powers that be in this very dualistic and politicized time. But fear and anger also make us really attached and full of conviction around our viewpoints, even slow to admit when we've been wrong, less curious, and more narrow-minded. And my concern is, where is this going? How is this going to affect the ones that are coming up after us? What kind of world would we be creating for them if we continue to have the mental and emotional health issues that we are seeing, as well as the issues of escalating violence and many of the divisions that we are seeing as well? By taking care of your mental and emotional health, you will have a positive influence on the collective. The emotions, confusions, anger, fear that you feel individually are shared emotional states in the collective. So now we are going to do a meditation practice for processing our emotions. What I want you to do is take your right hand and put it over your belly, and we're going to do a count of 3 on the inhalation and a count of 5 on the exhalation. So close your eyes right now and count for 3. 1, 2, 3 on the inhalation, and 5 on the exhalation. And I just want you to pay attention to any emotions or sensations of feelings that you're feeling, of anger or fear, and to just bring your attention to the feeling, not on the stimulus. So not on what is making you feel that way. So just notice the sensation as you continue to breathe in and out, your hand on your belly. Notice the sensation in your body and your mind of this emotion or feeling, and just give yourself permission to let it go, to let it become something different. And as you breathe, I just want you to bring your awareness and attention to the place of stillness, silence that is inside of you and is inside of every human being. It is beyond the material reality of all of our differences, the superficial reality of where we see our divisions. This place of stillness and silence is beyond all those things. And I would just invite you to communicate with the people in your life from this place. And what would that be like? Maybe just try it for one day and see what happens. See what happens to your views and your ways of perceiving the events that are happening today. When you operate from this place of stillness. The more that we connect with this point of stillness, the more that it will grow inside of us, the more that we can be in this place more consistently. And what a world that would be. And breathe. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel for more methods, tips, mindset techniques, and health practices that will cultivate resilience and give you a resilient life. You can also take my free masterclass for more methods that you can start using right away to give you a resilient life.